So they say that habit is what makes us. Our lives are full of habits. From the time we wake up from bed until the time we go to bed, we do things habitually. But do you know that doing things habitually, especially when it comes to your finances, can potentially sabotage your financial freedom journey? In this video, I'm going to share with you how you can recognize these, and indeed, or some of them, shall I say, and indeed how the things that you can do to stop these habits that are actually being a saboteur to your financial freedom journey. If we haven't met before, my name is Beatrice Yakubu. I am the founder of Simply Family Business, where I coach businesses owners to get clients. I also am the founder of Win with Money podcast, where I help you to understand the steps and the principles with which to become financially independent. I'm also an author of this book, Win with Money, online, as you how to start an online business and grow at one. Also, this book, Win the Money Game with Your Child, How to Become Financially Independent. These books are on Amazon that you can get. If you type Beatrice Yakubu on Amazon, you'll be able to find these books. So let's get on with today's video in terms of the unhelpful and, shall I say, unsupportive money habits that are also sabotaging your ability to progress in building your financial independence journey. Number one is you thinking that you would save money after you have done your spending. Think about it. Habits are things that we do on a day-to-day basis, right? So if you started work or your business thinking that I will put away money when I actually have enough to put away, in fact, if you are truthful to yourself and if you can reflect on this, you will realize that it has never been a good idea, in the sense that if you look at your savings account, you would get what I'm saying, that you haven't been saving money, or you haven't been saving enough money. And it's not, no shame on anyone, no guilt feeling, because I have done that tons of times. But it's time for us to rethink. It's time for us to reflect on the things that we have been doing that are not helpful, that are not working for us, and then indeed to change. So how has that been for you? Thinking that, oh, I will save when I have enough money, or I will save when I finish spending money, or I will save when. Obviously, that hasn't worked if you are watching this video. So I want to say that it is not your fault. Many people do that. I think majority of the world's population are in this category where we're thinking that money is not enough. But if you reflect on it, if you have been working for the past 5 years or 2 years or even a year, you know that your when you started working, you didn't have any money and you were still living. And then you started working and the money is coming in. And so even in as much as you are spending, spending is never going to stop. But saving is also very key and crucial aspect of your life, in the sense that you need to look after your future self. There's a saying that your savings will be your savior in the future. Now, if you don't save, how are you going to find that savior? And if you are working and making money, it means that you are healthy enough, you are strong enough, and you are skillful enough to do that. Unfortunately, as time goes on, those three key things will diminish. So even if you are still skillful due to work experience, but you are not going to either be healthy, or you are not going to be to be healthy. Either you are not going to be healthy, or you are not going to be strong enough to be able to do the work that you're supposed to do and then to bring in the money. And for that reason, you need to save for your future self, because that future self will come. If you have been given long life, that future self will come one day. But it is not good when that day comes, you are still in that loop. So thinking that you will save after you have spent, flip that around. Save before you start spending. And guess what? You won't miss it. And even if you are just saving 5%, ideally you should save 10%. But of course, even if you just start with 5% of your money, it works. I started becoming thinking about this seriously and actually starting to save consciously when I read the book The Automatic Millionaire, and he talks about the fact that even just thinking about using your coffee money to save, it is saving enough. If you are somebody who buys coffee every day, can you consider making your own coffee so that you can put that latte money, for example, £5 a day, into your savings? And that you will be surprised, counting down the next 5-6 months, you will really be blown away at how much you have been able to save. And of course, that will be out of habit as well. The number 2 unhelpful habit is paying your credits or your debts, paying minimum for your debts when you know you can actually pay it. Guess what? I have been there too. You have some debts, you know that you can pay it, you have money, and then you just think, I'll pay it another day. And guess what? That money in your hand is going to finish, and you haven't paid the debt is still waiting for you. So you need to think critically when you make money, paying your debt down. And most importantly, credit cards. It is important that you think about how you can pay, have the habit. Again, this is another habit, a habit that we use to pay just the minimum for our credit cards. Or how about flipping around to make this habit of paying all of it if you can? Because here is the thing. If you don't, when you have, for example, you've spent about £500 on your credit cards, guess how much they are requesting from you at the end of the month? Yes, drum roll. They are requesting about £10 from you to repay. Why are they not asking for all the money? Because they are going to make a lot of profit off you. And that interest that you'll be paying eventually on the credit card is just money being thrown down the drain, so to speak, because it's not money that will be yours. And whether you decide to pay it now or pay it later, I mean, if you pay it now, it is good for you in the sense that you would obviously save yourself some interest. But if you decide to pay it later, which you would, it's going to compound. And the longer you take, the longer it will take in terms of you be coming out of this and then being able to have some extra money to save. So, which is very important. The third point is, and if it's other debt, it's the same thing, consumer debt, whether you have a debt for your phone, a debt for your laptop, or debt for washing machine, anything, you need to think about that, thoughtfully. The other thing that habit that is unhelpful is buying things on sale. I think I've mentioned this in other videos as well, in terms of the 26th of December, for example, in the UK is the biggest day when people go out and buy things on sale. When you are doing that, or even I think it's in Easter again that there are sales in November, Black Friday, think, that thing I'm going to buy, did I ever thought of buying it, or is it because I've just seen it? Is it because I've just seen that it's cheap? Because if it's cheap, if you're buying it just because it's cheap, guaranteed you are not going to use it. So emotional buying actually is a habit that wastes our money without us knowing. And I believe that from now on, anytime that you see something on sale that is pulling you towards buying it, even if they say get 90% off, and you're only paying 10%, that 10% is money. And that money is money that you won't be in your pocket or your bank account. And it's money that will perhaps sit in your wardrobe that would not actually bring you anything until a day comes that you pick it up and you think, oh, I don't really need it. And then you toss it into the charity basket and off it goes. And then it goes there, it's not going to be worth anything. So you need to think about it when you buy things on sale. Emotional buying is actually a habit that keeps us in the loop of not becoming financially independent. The third thing is when you kind of think about lifestyle inflation. So lifestyle, when we live life, and the desire of everyone is to progress, definitely. So the progression is that you are working and you are making more money, or you're getting pay rise, of course, so your money increases, or you're in business and the business is progressing. The tendency is for you to increase your spending accordingly. And when you do that, it means you've just wiped out that gain in terms of, okay, I had a Vauxhall car and I have been promoted and I'm now going to buy a Mercedes, for example. Obviously, you have upgraded your lifestyle in terms of, you are riding in style, but your bank account is actually really not healthy. And when that is happening, it means that you are depriving your future self from having a very good lifestyle, or this lifestyle that you are living. If you are not doing something about it, your future lifestyle wouldn't be the same. So obviously you need to think about it in that sense. Then the other unhelpful habit is when we kind of depend on or using or thinking credit is a free money. So here, let me explain. I remember one time a friend of mine, years ago now, long time, called me and said, oh, we were just chatting. She says, oh, they called me to give me a loan. That was the bank. Those days, if you needed the bank a loan, you had to go to the bank and everything. But in her case, they called her and say, you've actually qualified for a loan. Would you like to come and have a chat? And then she was excited. Now, again, going back to the same thing as a sale, she didn't think that, having that loan was actually going to be a burden, because now you've been called to take a loan. Okay, yes. What are you using the money for? That doesn't cross our minds, because you just think that it's free money. Or you've been called to come for a credit card, and then you go for it, not thinking, okay, what am I going to use the money for? What is the money going to bring in return, and how am I going to be able to pay it back? Because if you're not thinking about these things, obviously you are literally putting yourself under bondage, in literally speaking. So thinking that free credit is free money is a habit that we take for granted, and that is sabotaging our progress. So again, in that respect, going online and just using your card to buy things, your credit card for that matter, to buy things that you don't need, because you're just scrolling and you saw it and then you like it and you bought it. Okay, did you actually think about it before when you were going online to do your scrolling? Did you have it in mind that this is what I was going to buy? But because you can, because at that time if you have a balance on your card, obviously you have money. But don't treat it like it's free money, because it's not free money. And last but not the least, in this video of how the habits that actually sabotages our progress when it comes to our finances is not keeping track of the numbers. I cannot stress this enough in terms of how keeping up with the numbers has really, literally, I feel good when I think about keeping up with the numbers in terms of how I do things now, even for groceries, because I used not to. And I would just let the give passwords to the kids, and then they will just buy, and then the groceries show up. And sometimes I look at my bank statement and it's like, wow, they bought up to £80 of worth of stuff that we don't need, or buying things that literally I wouldn't have bought in the grand scheme of things. Because to buy, sometimes they will buy ice cream for £5, and I'm like, what? How could you? But it's because I'm not keeping eye on the numbers, because it is my responsibility and it's your responsibility as the one who is earning the money to keep eye on the numbers. And when you do, you realize that number one, your groceries, you can actually scale down a lot on how much comes in, because sometimes a lot comes in, they fill the cupboards, and then some of them get thrown away because at some point they are going to expire. So you need to keep an eye on the numbers. You need to keep an eye on the numbers in terms of if you're having a budget, and then again you scroll online and you see something that's on sale, you are not going to buy it because it is not, you are not buying anything this month. Obviously you will skip. And you need to keep an eye on the numbers in the sense that when somebody rings you from home and say, the sky is falling down, and this is literally, I'm just saying that, literally, people will call and say, I'm just dying. If I don't have money today, you know, you might as well consider me dead. And then you will be rushing to save them because we think that's the right thing to do. But when you have a pulse on your numbers, you will not be moved because you know where you're going with your money. And indeed, you know that you know what to tell the person anyway, in terms of not and not feel guilty. That's the point I'm trying to put across. So knowing your numbers is very important. So that's it for the video. If you haven't subscribed already, I will say that please do, and like the video, share the video. And just to recap the points that I have discussed, in terms of the habits that are sabotaging, I would say what the normal habits that are sabotaging our financial freedom journey is number one. Number one is when you kind of not save, not prioritizing your saving is something that you need to think about. Not paying your debt as you should, buying emotionally, thinking that credit is free money, and indeed not putting an eye on your numbers. Thank you so much for watching. I will come your way once again. Take care and stay blessed.